Hello, I'm Tonyah Dee, and I'm a registered dietitian, nutritionist, and I'm going to be talking about the Daniel Plan. This book was written by Rick Warren and Dr. Amen and Dr. Hyman. The Daniel Plan is a lifestyle, and as a registered dietitian, I can say I really don't like to ever talk about diet unless it's medically indicated. So I like the idea that they made this a plan. They actually call it a health style, which is great, interesting verbiage. It's healthy, the healthiest way to live our lives so that we have the energy that we need to pursue God's will for our life, to pursue our dreams, to have the energy to take care of ourselves, to have the energy to take care of other people. So this plan has 5 aspects to it. It has faith, food, fitness, focus, and fellowship. So what I'm going to try to do is condense it and really give my advice, some things that this book doesn't have that I have found healthy or helpful in following this plan myself. This is a lifestyle that I follow and I really believe in. So let's just get started. I'm going to jump right into what I think is really important that wasn't in the book, and that is, who are we in the first place? What is the science of the human being? So I'm a science major. I have a Bachelor of Science and Administrative Dietetics at Loma Linda University, and science is my thing. I love science, but I'll tell you, I really didn't put the whole picture together about our body until I really studied the Bible. So the Bible brought it all together for me, and that's what I think before you even think about what your motivation is for doing this lifestyle, or you just really, it's very, very beneficial to understand the science of just who we are as a human being created in the image of God. Very interesting. So the human being, when we are born, we're given a body, a soul, and a spirit. We're given the body, the soul, and the spirit. Every human being is given a body, a physical body, a soul, and a human spirit. We're also given the breath of life. So the breath of life at the beginning of our birth, of course, that's what makes us come alive. And it's still a very, very important part of being a human being is the breath. So the body, as we can see, is material, it's physical, it's solid, we can see it, it's physical, it's material. The soul, the spirit, and the breath are non-material. They are spiritual. So for sure, the spirit and the soul is the part of us it's not a solid, it's not a physical something that we can see, but it is a part of us. So it's important to understand how all of these things can work together for our good to really create the best human being. So let's cover the body really quickly. The body is amazing. It has, it's a sensory system. So we have the senses of sight and hearing and smell and taste and touch. And our senses are constantly picking up and receiving information from the world. And then inside our body, we have systems. We have 11 systems. So we have the digestive system, the circulatory system that circulates everything, the respiratory system where we're breathing. We have the skeletal system, keeps our bones, and the muscle system. We have the endocrine system, which is our hormonal system, very, very important. And we have our nervous system, and that's really the king daddy of all of them. Kind of, that's the thing that will keep us peaceful, is if we can get our nervous system to be running like it optimally should. So it runs all of our nerves. So we have this system. We have senses and systems running in our body. Then we have the soul. Now the soul is very interesting. The soul is, in our soul is our mind, all of our thoughts. That's a lot, right? All of our past experiences are stored in our soul from the time we are born till the time we die. Our soul is storing our experiences, and our experiences, our feelings about those experiences. So our emotions are also stored in our soul, and emotions and feelings, there's long lists. Like I learned in therapy, like how many feelings and emotions we have. It's extraordinary. It's a lot. And some of these emotions can get stored in our body. And I'll explain later how to get those to flow better. But in our soul is our mind, our thoughts, our emotions, and our will. Our free will is located in our soul. Our free will is, it's desires. Like, I want this, I want that, I don't want that, I wish I had this, I won't do that. So our desires, our free will is always speaking to us, just like our mind, our emotions, and our will. It's a very active part of us, and it's really important to identify, oh, that's my soul. That's coming from my soul. So everybody is given a soul. It's what makes us unique. My unique soul is different from your unique soul. And that's intentional. Everybody is given a very, very unique personality. Everybody's given a unique soul, a unique body. And it's important that we understand the difference between, oh, this is my physical body, and oh, this is my mind, it's talking to me. So, and then everybody's born with a human spirit. So we have the capability, the virtues of the spirit are peace and faith, love, joy, kindness, goodness, self-control, patience. We have the capability to have all of these virtues as a human being, to experience peace and kindness. So we're given a body, a soul, a spirit, and a breath. Now our breath is so important. The breath is in Latin. Other words for breath are spirit. Breath and spirit, the same thing. Vitality, breath and vitality. Power, breath and power. So the breath, you can see, is really important. The breath is a link. The breath links the body, soul, and spirit, and it also links all the human systems. So when we're breathing, it's the air is going into us, oxygen, and it's creating a flow in through all of our systems. It's connecting our respiratory system with our circulatory system, with our lymphatic system, with our nervous system. It's connecting everything. So the breath is a link, they say, between matter, which is solid, physical, and non-matter, which is our soul and our spirit, and all of our systems, matter and non-matter, our soul and our spirit. So the breath flows up, in and out of our body, in and out of our heart. Now, the other thing that's a real important aspect of the human being is the heart. So the heart is so important, and the heart isn't just an organ, and that's why Christ was always pointing to the heart. And the heart is an electromagnetic field. It has electricity and it's magnetic, so it attracts and it repulses. It opens and it closes, and we can feel this happening in our life, and to some degree we can start to manage that. When our heart closes, we can learn how to open it back up. So we can learn how not to be so attracted and repulsed to things, and just stay a little bit more neutral and open. So anyway, the human being in the body, it says the soul is located inside the heart. The spirit is also located inside the heart. So things flow in and out of the heart. Our emotions and our desires, peace and love, flow in and out of our heart. Now, this is what's interesting. Science has shown that we have heart cells in our heart, and we have heart cells in our brain, and we have heart cells in our gut. And then science has also shown that we have brain cells in our heart and brain cells in our gut. So part of being a human being is learning to use all of these things. So we're learning to use our mind and our heart, and it's all flowing throughout the heart. The heart's the big daddy. And so the human being starts to learn how to use the breath to create calm. The breath can create calm or stress. So if we are relaxed and we're conscious of our breath and we're breathing regularly and deeply, we tend to stay relaxed. And when we hold our breath, or we're not breathing, or we're not aware that we're shallow breathing, the breath will trigger the brain to release chemicals that flow throughout our body, and it will create a feeling of anxiety and stress. So when the breath and the body, the senses and systems, and the soul, our mind, emotions, our will, and our spirit, and our heart are all working together, we feel a lot better. Then we're able to make better decisions, and we're able to feel just better human beings. So we experience life in a nicer way, I guess you could say. So this is the basic human being. Now, here's where it gets really interesting. Now, the human being, I'm just going to tell a quick story. So this is a personal story. I was a human being. I was 24, just cruising through life, not understanding any of this. And it was about 10 years after my mother had left our family, and I had spent 10 years just really lost. And I was at my fourth college. I was at Loma Linda University, and a television evangelist came on the television and said, "Hey, would you like Christ to come into your heart? Do you need Christ?" And I was like, "Oh my God, yes, I need Christ." And I was on the floor crying. I asked Christ to come into my heart. That's what he was saying. Ask Christ to come into your heart. And what happened that day is called born again. So I was born again. I was. It's also called regenerated. And what that means is when we ask sincerely, we ask Christ to come into our heart, he gives us a new heart. So he gives a new heart. That's the promise, and that's exactly what happened to me. My heart got bigger, and I was able, now I'm 56, and so I've been living with a new heart for about 30 years, and my life changed completely. So this is the human being, as I believe, as God intended us to be. He gives us the free will to make a decision. Do I want to invite Christ into my heart or not? But if you do, you're promised a new heart. And so what that means is the spirit, the qualities of God's spirit. God's spirit is perfect. And that's why it's called the Holy Spirit, because it's whole, it's complete. It brings everything good. So God's spirit is peace beyond understanding. So in our human spirit we have peace, but his spirit is peace beyond understanding. His spirit helps us to experience joy and love. So we get a bigger heart, and God's spirit also brings us wisdom and discernment. God's spirit is the spirit of truth. This is so important because it's hard in life to discern truth, and it's hard to even be honest with ourselves and understand what's the truth going on around us. But when we're connected to God's spirit of truth, he reveals things. God is also called the revealer. So life becomes a little bit easier and a lot more honest. Anyway, and God's spirit, he has knowledge that he gives us. He helps us to understand things. He gives us, we're connected to the source of creativity, to the main source of creativity, which is God. And we get to live more creative lives. As a matter of fact, so many years ago, I heard God's voice tell me exactly what to do in my life, and it changed the direction of my life completely, and amazingly has given me a lot of joy. And so anyway, he will download his will for your life. I still hear it every day, if possible. I really try to stay connected to God's spirit at all times. And he also gives us a spirit of might. So God's spirit is powerful. It's mighty. It gives us the strength to make the changes, make the hard choices. And at the same time, all that strength, we're feeling his peace and his stability. God's spirit is very stable. It's the same all the time, and it's found within. So it's always there for us. Whereas the soul is always changing. So if you think about it, our soul, which has our mind, our emotions, and our will, is always changing. Our thoughts are always changing, and our thoughts can be even not true. It could be something that we heard as a child and we still think it's true, because our soul stores all of our experiences. So the mind's always changing, the emotions are always changing, our desires are always changing. So the soul is real unstable. It's just unstable. It's just the nature of the soul. But our soul's also, it wants to serve us. So being connected to God's spirit, what happens in our life is we start to get grace. So grace is an actual experience. We can feel it inside. We just feel calmer, more full of light. God is light, and in him is no darkness at all. That's why you see all the saints have this like halo going on because all this light is being magnified off of them. And Mother Mary, she has this light coming off of her. This also is God's spirit coming out of her heart. And remember, the heart is an electromagnetic field. It extends outside of us, like the scientists say, like 10 feet. So, and we can feel that sometimes with people. We can feel their love or their anger. So, anyway, this is the human being at our full potential. That is what I believe, and it's perfectly achievable. So anyway, I believe that in order to really do a lifestyle like this and be successful at it and be able to constantly be moving forward and having new life, and we need to understand who we are as a human being and what our full potential is. And so that's my take on it. If you have any questions, my company is Yah Light. My website is Yah Light, God's Light, yahlight.com. And anyway, this is it for part 1 of the Daniel plan. So thank you very much for watching and being part of the Yah Light community. Go in grace and go with grace.